Katikati, a small town in the Bay of Plenty, nestled into lush green pasture next to a natural harbour, was settled by two groups of Irish, led by George Vesey Stewart from County Tyrone in 1875. Withstanding early economic problems, the settlement managed to develop into a healthy town, based around farming and agriculture. Today, it has since grown into an attractive lifestyle destination.
The cars were loaded to the full and we headed mid-morning off to Katikati on the 1st of July 1949. We came from the north and we'd been told that there was no tar seal from Waihi to Tauranga. So imagine my surprise and I yelled out, "Hey, we're on tar seal." The foursquare man knocked on the door and said, "Well, I'm shut, but I'm just going to let you know I'll be there till 6:30 if you need anything." We hadn't been there very long, probably about 2 days, and we discovered there was no water supply to Katikati. And we talked around to people and found out what you did was you grabbed a towel and your soap and your shampoo and off you went out to the springs. You had to go to Springs Road where you'd get off and walk over the swing bridge over the river, and then you'd come out, go up a bit further, and you'd come out in a sort of an opening in all this native bush. And there was a swimming, paddling pool for the youngsters and a decent sized swimming pool. Plus a funny looking changing shed, wrought iron thing, I don't think it had any roof, and where you could change, 2 sheds, one for the boys and one for the girls. So, and we chatted away, met lots of people that we hadn't met, some of my school friends, and it was good. When the adults were setting up the house, we 3 kids went up the main street, from the hotel that was on the left corner, and then it was Bertie Fenn's garage, Bertie and Mama Fenn's garage. It was wonderful. Even came out to a breakdown when we broke down in the gorge on New Year's Day. So that was the tone. Then there was the farmers and a fish shop, and they were in a big concrete building. After that, well, actually I forgot to mention, behind that there was the hitching rails where my husband and the boys who came on their horses to the pictures, they used to hitch them up. They had a hitching rail behind there. There was further on there was a tea shop and bakery. And then further on there was the Bank of New Zealand, which was just a 2-room sort of army hut thing. And behind it was a small batch for the 2 boys who used to come and work there. The manager had a house up in Park Road. And then there was a lovely brick building, which was the post office, built in 1936, so it was reasonably new. And it had the living quarters for the postmaster and also the telephone exchange. The picture theatre actually started by Billy Henderson, they all called him Billy. He was an elderly man, but he purchased the picture theatre from Waihi. And he took it all down. It was only a corrugated iron on the outside, but he took it all down and brought it through to Katikati and put it up in Katikati, right in the middle of Cherry Court there. His wife used to play the piano, and they had a little bit of a stage there before the screen, and she used to play the piano, of course, for the silent movies that he had. When Jim Purcell came over, he built a big projection box out the front, where he built some shops underneath. This hall was, it was condemned for about the 5th time. So everybody said, look, we've just got to do something. The town was growing. People were coming, you know, I don't know how long after we came, somebody else came and then somebody else came and it was building up. So they had to do something. So, and at the same time, the government brought out subsidies for war memorials. So they had to look at the figures and they decided that if they had a big effort, they could get enough money to give the subsidy. So they decided on having a Queen Carnival. This was held for 2 weeks at the end of November, beginning of December. Actually, my father-in-law was on the committee, and the policeman in town, the only policeman in town, was the chairman of the committee. And the activities, oh gosh, you couldn't go anywhere. Every day there were either street stalls or parties, tea parties at houses, or sometimes some illegal parties at night in other houses. And of course, remember, the policeman was the chairman. So he wasn't looking. The greatest one of the lot was the and also probably illegal, was the race meetings we had. There was one at the Domain, and we were on wooden horses, and the women were all girls on them, and we had jockey uniforms on, and some sort of cap. The way they worked it was, there was one throw of the dice was the number of the jockey, and the next show of the dice was how many paces they moved. At the end of the 2 weeks, we 4 queens, the princess, were put up on the back of a truck. We each had a little Maori girl attendant, and then also Hughie Hunter, the policeman, who of course was the chairman of everything. He finally crowned the Red Queen as the Carnival Queen. We raised £7,120, quite an amount of money. An architect lived at Thompson's Track, so he drew up the plans, and also the RSA came in on the plans. The builder was here in Katikati, HDR Raymond. He was very good. He actually brought 4 builders and their families out from England in order to build this big hall. The night there was a big fire in Katikati. Farmers Training Company, they lost absolutely everything. Somebody spotted it and yelled, and then everybody saw these flames coming up. By this time it was well alight. It was like a bonfire, I believe, and absolutely everything burned out. There was no fire brigade because also, you know, I told you we had no town water. So no town water, no fire brigade, and the river was quite a way away, really, about 100 yards away or more. Oh, what a sad state of affairs it was. There was only the concrete walls were still up. They did rebuild the concrete building up, put a roof on, and Bertie's Garage took the farmer's part of it, and the fish shop came back there with new owners.
Modern Katikati's population may have changed, but the reasons for coming here are still the same.